So have you ever heard of Operation Lone Star?
No, but I assume it's to do with Texas.
Of course it is. Of course it's to do with Texas. Operation Lone Star is Texas's
Ah,
initiative from Governor Greg Abbott to I don't want to swear, but tell him to get effed.
I knew about this program. I didn't know that was the name for it.
Yeah. But I mean, as you can see, like Texas has really, really suffered from illegal immigration. And we'll get to the numbers at the end. I mean, I'm sure you're all very aware of just how bad it is. So Greg Abbott in June was like, you know what? Gone. You can go to the sanctuary cities where you're wanted, and they'll be thrilled to have you. They'll be absolutely, they're ecstatic. They're in fact, well, we welcome asylum seekers. We welcome them. Until it turned out it was going to destroy them.
I have seen lots of town halls with particularly black residents in Chicago and New York and the
we've
like.
covered this previously. Yeah.
Yes, who have said, well, all these foreigners have turned up and they're taking our welfare, they're taking our housing, and we should be taking that actually.
Yes.
That's our right as the ancestral descendants of slaves who were never paid reparations. Therefore, get lost. And so...
And honestly, I am a lot more inclined to agree with them.
I'm not inclined to agree that they're entitled to anything from the welfare state, but in terms of who should the country be acting in favor of, it's native citizens or foreigners.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Like I said, I don't agree with reparations, but obviously you shouldn't just be giving money away to a bunch of chancers who just managed to get over the giant border that America has with Mexico, right? And so, as you can see, Mayor Adams in New York was like, initially, yay, this is great. Actually, no, this sucks and it's going to destroy us. It's like, okay, if you're straining to cope, then why aren't you more against just mass immigration and illegal immigration, mass illegal immigration, but both overall? You know, like all this virtue signaling about sanctuaries, oh, no person's illegal. You know, we're going to give sanctuaries for everyone. It's like, okay, now here's your wish.
Well, it's a luxury belief. And this is why most of the affluent towns in the UK that vote Lib Dem always want asylum seekers in the abstract, but never want to house them in all of their spare bedrooms.
Yes.
And so the difference between a luxury belief being held by the elite class and then having all of the consequences accrue at the bottom, which safely insulates them from the consequences, and this is that they realize there are consequences in that they might lose a black vote. And so diversity is no longer their strength because it's undermining their electoral hegemony in progressive cities.
And it's not just that, it's costing them lots of money. Now, this has been costing Texas lots of money for a long time. But like you say, it's a luxury belief. It's over there. It's your problem. It's your taxes. So I'm going to sit there and say, you're a bad person for not wanting as many illegals in. As soon as they arrive at Martha's Vineyard, of course, they get deported in the day because the National Guard gets called in. But no, when it's your problem, you Republicans, by the way, obviously, that's fine. Hi folks, sorry to interrupt the video, but I just wanted to announce that we have a new line of merch in our merch store. The merch store was kind of empty for a while, and so I thought, right, okay, what do I actually want on shirts? And so I just went through some of the most epic and true things that I think that historical people have said, and John managed to make an amazing set of merch out of it. And we will have extra things coming in the store, such as posters for these to go on. Thanks for everything, folks. Now back to the video. And so the Republicans are basically fighting back against Democrat virtue signaling by literally sending those. And as you can see, the sanctuary cities are straining to support thousands of migrants arriving by bus. Is there any thought, any compassion for your fellow Americans down at the border states who they might be struggling? They might be under a massive amount of strain from all of these people. There's none whatsoever, totally unsympathetic. And in fact, it takes on a really, really selfish aspect. So, it's going to destroy us. And what do you think it's doing to Texas then? What do you think it's doing to Florida or to Virginia? No, not Virginia. Like
Arizona?
New Mexico, Arizona. You know?
It's flipping the electoral map blue.
Exactly. Texas now is 40% Hispanic and 38% like Anglo-Saxon. So, okay, you know what you're doing. And as soon as it affects you, you're just like, well, this was a terrible idea. Yes, it was a terrible idea to start with. This is why you're getting Operation Lone Star. And this is why you deserve it, actually, right? Because you made your bed, get screwed in it, right? And of course, they're just piling it on. This is in October last year, just tripling the recent arrivals. Just keep on going. Get every single one of them to a sanctuary city, because that's what a sanctuary city is from their own mouths.
I don't want to be a bitter Britbong, as I'm sure the YouTube commenters will accuse me of, but the number of migrants arriving in New York City shot up to 600 per day. Right, that is terrible. We are an island that's about the size of Delaware getting that every day as well. So At least New York City now know how the entirety of England feels.
Yes, but also that's a really small number compared to the number that are just coming across.
Yes.
Like that.
It's about 2.5 million illegal crossings a year, I think.
We'll get to the numbers, but it is roughly that. But that just goes to show you how sensitive their ecosystem is when it comes to this sort of thing. If 600 a day, so if we, a few thousand a week, say 4,000-5,000 a month, say 20,000-30,000 a year, something like that, are arriving, and that's, oh God, this is going to destroy us. Well, then what about the hundreds of thousands that are crossing the Texan border every month? What does that do? Why can't you be more sympathetic to your fellow Americans? Again, they are your countrymen, you selfish bastards, right? So anyway, yeah, pile it on, get as many over there. They wanted the migrants, they're in favor of it, get them on, right? So they've got 50,000 in October they'd sent to these sanctuary cities. And of course, the absolute panic. Hilariously, Texas spent 86 million busing migrants. That's probably a lot less than it is to house them in Texas.
It's a lot more expensive, though, than building a great big wall and making Mexico pay for it.
That is absolutely true. But of course, that didn't work. Walls don't work. Walls have never worked. There were also adverts that they put up in New York. I don't know if they've got a picture of the adverts. Picture of the adverts. I was hoping they had a picture of the adverts in New York saying "refugees welcome" that Texas had put up.
Well, they have declared themselves a sanctuary state, so I think New York are saying that.
Yes, they are saying that. Here the sanctuary city. New York welcomes immigrants.
I do love that they've included the
in El Paso. In El Paso, Texas.
Well, they've got that bloody stupid poem at the bottom saying, "Give me your
exactly.
You're tired. You're hungry.
Hey, look,
your sea tossed masses.
These tired, huddled masses that have come from South America, indeed, are exactly what New York is asking for. So why not? Why not advertise in Texas to get them to go? Yeah, San Francisco welcomes migrants. That's it. They literally all say that.
That looks like the Netflix remake of Midnight Cowboy.
I've not seen it. But yeah, no, this is exactly the sort of thing they could do because exactly what they say themselves. You are literally just repeating their own words back to them. And so, of course, this means that New York, Chicago, all of the other Democrat-controlled sanctuary cities are now at breaking point. Oh, we need federal help to house increased numbers. It's like, why did you ask for this? And again, you couldn't have hit it more on the point. It's a vanity belief. And this is something they're very aware of as they decide, we're going to block the buses from entering our sanctuary city. It's like, wow, border controls work.
Yeah. Curious that. But also, okay, diversity is a strength, but that strength is driving us to breaking point.
Says the black mayor of New York City. Yes. Black Democrat mayor of New York City. Again, it's just remarkable how quickly, like with the Martha's Vineyard example. No, you're gone within the day. No, we're erecting a hard border, no buses. That's it. Governor Abbott, you evil patriarchal racist.
Well, that was DeSantis, and the Martha's Vineyard one. And if DeSantis would have been as hardline on his presidential campaign, he would have maintained his out in front of the pack favorite status rather than dropping to, I think, third place now.
Possibly, but it was just the wrong time.
It was the wrong time, but also he went with establishment advice over bold moves like that, and that was a great move.
Yeah, he should have just stuck to his guns on these things. And just kept doing these things. But anyway, so yeah, they're blocking all the buses. So I guess the migrants aren't getting there. Oh no, it's time for them to get the trains.
Now the optics on this don't look great.
What? Sending migrants on trains into New York? There's nothing wrong with getting migrants to go on trains to New York.
There isn't.
Like what New York wanted.
There isn't, but when I've been reliably informed by AOC that any migrant detention center is in fact a concentration camp, then by their own framing, sticking migrants on trains does not look good.
Why would Mayor Adams be running a concentration camp for migrants into New York City? Honestly, disgusting. But I mean, it just keeps going. Suddenly they're presented with the results of their own policies. And I love it. You've got to literally do this and make them live their truth, make them live by the statements that they're making. There's just no other way to get them to change their mind, actually. And for some reason, the Republicans can't just take action on their own merits. For some reason, and it's the same with the Conservatives here. It's like, oh, Labour Party, do you approve of this? Finally, we can do something. And it's just the same with the Republicans. Even with the Conservatives having a massive majority here, they still need the approval of Labour. Like, oh, Labour aren't going to help us stop the vote. It's like, why do you need help?
I think it's a lingering legacy of something that Eric Kaufman observed in White Shift, which was that
Mhm.
for quite a while, the free marketeer brand of libertarian Republicans who believe in the free movement of capital and people as an unfettered principle are supporting it just because it has cheap labor for big business. And they see it as attracting the investment of large capital firms in their states that then allows them to employ cheap labor so their balance sheet looks better, even if the quality of life on the ground for their constituents looks worse. And so there are some of those line go up types still within the Republican Party who aren't the America First caucus.
That's definitely a layer of it. But on top of that is a kind of moral layer in which the conservatives and Republicans are constantly looking for moral approval from the left. Because for the last 50 years, probably more, going back to like the early 60s, the left has, for some reason, somehow been able to frame themselves as the moral driving force of our civilizations. And the Republicans kind of like bent their knee and were like, yeah, that's a good point. You are right on everything. We just don't want everything to be destroyed. So can we do this, please? And are you okay with that? And it's really disgusting and cringy, and I hate it. You know, there's literally this cringing republicanism, this cringing conservatism, and I really hate it. It's like, look, you just got to be like, I don't care what they do. And so, okay, if you are one of those people, look at them, look at them, look at them. They will deport them instantly. They will stop the buses coming in. That means that's okay for you to do. That's an okay thing to do to protect your town, your city, your state. They know it. You should know it. Come on, Republicans. Come on, conservatives. They're okay with it. Don't listen to their shaming, for God's sake. Uh, in fact, it goes so far, literally goes so far, that the Biden controlled um, uh, Justice Department will, I mean, you can see, sorry, just a quick thing. I got Chicago mayor going, well, look, this is seeds of chaos. Governor Abbott is determined to sow the seeds of chaos that you asked for. You wanted illegal immigrants. These are the seeds of chaos. Okay. Republicans, just cite him every time. You're like, no, busloads of them deported back to wherever, to Guatemala or whatever. No, they're all going. Why? Seeds of chaos. The mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, said so. That's who we're citing for that. Seeds of chaos. No, he's got to go.
Also,
You know?
an accusation that the other party are presiding over chaos, anarchy, death, and destruction from the mayor of the south side of Chicago.
The mayor of New York, like the mayor of bloody, like the governor of California, like
Gavin
Portland.
Newsom.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom. Like Portland.
Ted Wheeler.
That's it. Like all the idea that these people are like, oh yeah, this is seeds of chaos. Like, have you looked at where you live?
Yeah, Metropolis is unruly, says mayor of Gotham City.
Exactly. Why would my opponent do this? But anyway, it's so bad that the Biden-controlled Justice Department is threatening to sue Texas if it enforces a law making illegal border entry a crime. Now, let's just break that statement down a second, right? If Texas enforces a law making illegal border entry a crime, illegal crime, I think it's already a crime by the fact that it's defined as being illegal border entry, and the Justice Department is going to sue the state of Texas if they enforce it.
This is a narco-tyranny at the federal level. They're doing the same thing to Elon Musk, aren't they?
Yeah, but like, no, you're absolutely right. It is an opportunity, but just like think of the bonkers world we have arrived in, where the Justice Department of America is going to sue a state for enforcing the laws. If there couldn't be a better example of how clearly the blue-controlled institutions are targeting the red states and saying, no, we just want you destroyed. We just want you destroyed so we can complete our final takeover of this country.
Yeah, it's friend enemy.
Exactly. This is why I said, like I said on Tim's podcast, that you don't really have a country anymore. You have a sort of cold civil war going on, and this is part of it. They are working to destroy you, and they know how they're going to do it, and they don't care how hypocritical they're going to be. So stop appealing to like, oh, well, you're being a hypocrite about this. Like I saw someone the other day posting about Claudine Gay being like, oh, well, no, it was Matt Iglesias being like, well, every conservative president of university is now going to be deeply interrogated over plagiarism. It's like, okay, one, what conservative presidents? Be good. Good. I don't want any bloody plagiarists at the top of university either way. But they don't see it that way. Look at the way he's framing it. It's like, oh, now your guys are going to get it. It's like, what do you mean, my guys?
Yep.
Like, and that reveals his mindset completely.
It's also like,
you can't interrogate our guys. This is ours.
It's a smug Wojak of, well, you say you like winning, but you just caused us to lose.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
hypocritical of you, isn't it?
Exactly, but they would never do this for you. So it's just like, what are you doing?
A little bit of extra information as well. Do you know why they've got those boys in the Rio Grande in that image?
No, I don't actually.
One of the chief complaints was that they put those luminous buoys in the Rio Grande to stop people crossing it because people were getting swept up in the Rio Grande and drowning, and they found the bodies of children. Yeah. So alerting them to the fact that there is a deep and dangerous river there, stopping them from crossing it and dying, is discrimination.
Yes, it is discriminatory against people who shouldn't be crossing the river and getting into the United States.
Yeah, and also to stop those people that might also be trafficked from dying. You know?
I mean, it's also called the Rio Grande. It means the Great River. Like, I mean, they know because they speak Spanish. So, sorry. I personally am still on Trump's idea of just building a big fence and then putting alligators in the river and possibly putting up some signs that say warning alligators.
Yeah. Florida man governs the entire country.
Exactly. I'm in favor of that. But the point, you can see the naked partisanship in play. They know mass immigration destroys, and they know if you try and stop it, you won't be destroyed. And so they're going to use the instruments of state to stop you from stopping the destructive force that is going to ruin you. And they're going to take executive action to stop you from getting that to their state because that will destroy them. Like, you could not have it more crystal clear. There is no reason that any Republican governor of anything in America should A, listen to a Democrat, but B, do anything the Democrats want, or accept any moral prohibition on this particular subject. Just literally when they cross over, just get them on a plane and just deport them back to whatever country they've come from. Just the second. None of this human rights nonsense. They don't deserve to be there. They should just be taken away. Then you get the lies. Right? Imagine Biden's press secretary then coming and goes, yeah, we want to work together on border security. It's like, your Justice Department is literally going to sue Texas for having border security. Like, I would be, the gaslighting, I would just be, I'm an independent state at this point. Like, I would literally think of myself, if I was Abbott or DeSantis, I'd just be like, no, we're basically an independent state. We don't listen to the federal government.
Yeah, this is like burglars kicking your door down and saying, we're locksmiths and we're here to help.
Exactly. I would just be like, no, we're basically independent. I don't care what they say. We're going to do what we want. They can get screwed. And if they say, well, okay, we're going to sue you, it's like, okay, I'm not going to pay it. Now what?
Did you hear about the chartered flights that are flying multiple thousands of illegal immigrants with tickets that have been given to them, believed to be by the State Department, that have printed in English, I do not speak English, so please take me to my seat. And they don't have to show ID. Basically, illegal immigrants are just being flown around. Tim helped break it a little while ago with Ashley Sinclair as well.
Right.
So the Biden administration knowingly just trafficking people with no identity all across the country.
Just do not listen to them. Anyway, so how many is it? Well, it's a lot, actually. 300,000 illegals per month, apparently. This is 1.6 million a year in 2021. But apparently it's spiking. So this is the highest record in December 2023. So normally it was about 160 to 200,000 a month. Now it's 300,000. Just incredible numbers. So it's millions a year. There we go. So you can see this is just completely going up. And this is migrant encounters as well. This is only what they know about.
Well, look at that complete trough during the Trump administration.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that interesting?
And also, there's quite...
During Obama as well.
Which is why he was called Deporter-in-Chief.
Exactly. Obama was actually very firm on this, in the sort of Tony Blair manner. No illegals can just get back because we're going to let you all illegally go and get a plane ticket.
Well, Biden did say in the first week of his administration that we were going to see a surge at the border.
Yeah.
So he literally told them to come.
And he was completely right. As you can see, the surge immediately happens on Biden's entry. Goes down during COVID, but then scores back up.
2021 or 2022 there, that is the record, it's 2021, of 1.6 million people just walking or swimming over the US border.
Yeah, then there's no reason that Americans should have to accept this. It's totally unjust. It's total exploitation of the average American. And the Democrats are doing it in order to make sure that the country will vote Democrat forever. They know they're doing this. And so, just record high. This is just atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. There should just be squads of border patrol. Just like, no, you're getting on a plane, you're going back to wherever you came from or whatever. And then when Biden's asked, he's like, you can do anything about the southern border? It's like, well, they've got to give me the money. It's like, oh my God, really? Really? You need the money to build a wall, do you?
What about the third of all US dollars ever in existence that you printed for stimulus packages about 2 years ago?
You literally, the day you got into office, rescinded Trump's border wall bills, executive orders. He literally pulled it on. It's like, no, we're not having border. And it's like, right. So I'm tired of gaslighting. I'm really sick of it. And I can't even imagine how insufferable it must be as an American to see all of this sort of stuff happening.
In his defense, though, I don't think he knows what he's saying.
Maybe, but I'm not giving him any defense. He's the president, and therefore the buck stops with him.
Or his puppeteers.
Yes, well, the people who are...
Yeah, he's more focused on getting to the nearest toilet.
Which is why he's upset about being interrupted there. You can see he's holding his catheter. Anyway, I find it really insufferable. We'll live there.
If you appreciated that episode from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Contemplation series, this episode on a gentleman's guide to cocktails. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Twitter at lotuseaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.